too much, y'all just don't get the real thing. But okay, so let's talk about it. Let's get with it because I love the likes. Thank you guys so much for liking up the page. This allows TikTok to know that we are here, and that we are here having a conversation that is important and people like it. So I greatly appreciate you guys for liking and hitting up this page because it's amazing. It makes our lives a lot easier. And it looks like TikTok didn't like whatever was said. So if you don't mind just revamping it. And I know, right? TikTok be TikToking. Be TikToking. But I was literally repeating the topic of the live. For real, I love it. TikTok be tripping. Yes, I thought it was very, very interesting. So to catch everybody up, Jasmine, she made a statement. It's a full statement of deconstructing religion. And I figured that I would kind of jump in. I was actually asking my DM, if you didn't see the video, I was asking the DM about to talk about this and my perception of it. Since I do talk about your spiritual awakening and understanding that we as people are really living a human experience, that the life that we have, especially when it pertains to religion has been used as a format to kind of keep people bound and in control, right? And we'll talk more about that because, y'all been asking, Keisha, you gonna talk about the trauma of religion? Yes. And this is it. I like this convo because I'm finding that things are conflicting with my religion. Yes, absolutely. They are conflicting. And for me, they have been conflicting with my way of thinking for quite some time. So please feel free to converse, chime in, add your thoughts, and we're about to take this big, deep dive. So for me, I was raised in a church. I was born and raised. My mom was a missionary, not missionary type person, right? I've been to the biggest churches, some of the biggest churches, especially in the Black community here in the United States of America. The biggest one that I've been to was the Potter's House with Bishop T.D. Jakes. And this is not to knock anyone, because I will never, ever, ever say that I did not get a spiritual awakening while I was there at the Potter's House. I was at that church for roughly about 6 years, strong, dedicated, 1,000%. So the church has its place, in my opinion. When we talk about foundation and setting up the ideas and principles of knowing what you can and cannot do. But this is where it kind of gets in deep for me. So what I put in my notes, because y'all know, if y'all been with me and been rocking with me this entire time, I always have notes. So you'll see me looking to the side because I have my notes next to me, because I'm a Virgo. It helps me when I'm talking. During that time when I was at the Potter's House, and I've been to all types of churches nationwide, because I am a military brat. So I've been to different denominations. I have been to churches with different racial backgrounds. I have been to churches in all over the country. I literally have been to churches all over the country. That was my mama's thing. And each church has its own. Yes. That's why we connect. I'm trying to tell you, Jada, that is why we connect. We military brats. That's why we connect. We are. And I've been to all of these churches, and each church has its own set of rules. I've been to a church that required me not to wear makeup. They said that was a sin. I had a church that told me that if I wore pants, that was a sin. I had a church that had, oh yeah, we get each other on a whole nother level, girl. Whole nother level. I've been to a church where I had to wear doilies on top of my head. I have been to a church where I had to wear long skirts and long dresses, because that was a sin if I wore something outside of that. And I had been to churches where I had to wear long sleeves, right? even in the muggiest times of winter, of summer, we had to wear long sleeves because showing your skin was not of God as a woman. So I've lived through a lot of those scenes. I've been to a church again. I've been to a church where I couldn't watch TV. Watching TV was a sin. And each church that I've gone to, there are boundaries and rules that were created. But these rules and these boundaries, in my opinion, as I get older, were, hey, Kendra, these rules and boundaries that were created as I get older, um, are things that kind of help keep you in line. But as you get older, your mind starts to expand a little bit. Hey, boo. And when your mind is expanding and you start to go deeper, it's required in the church. Thank you for the gifts. It's required in the church. In the Bible, it states that we need to study to show ourselves approved. And through my whole entire, not yet, no, during my entire experience with church, when I turned 19 years old, and I was in college. And while I was in college, the one thing that I noticed the most was we had to do a sociology idea. Hey, Amanda, we had to do a sociology idea. And we had to look in the backgrounds. Hey, boo, hey, Memmosa. We had to look at the makeup of religion. And in my study, what I learned, hey, boo, hey, in my study, what I learned was that when the church, the original, like Constantine, right? When Constantine, was it Constantine? I think it was Constantine, but seeing my Virgo ways, I'm gonna have to triple check myself. But when Constantine was in rule, his idea was to create the church as a form of a way to control people. And during this time, many people were fighting in the name of God, right? And as they were fighting in the name of God, what ended up happening was there were many deaths and bloodsheds. And the conflict that I had when I started to learn more about these things and these wars was the conflict of the 10 commandments, the thou shalt not do, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not covet thy husband, thy neighbor's wife, love thy neighbor as you love thyself. Like, I don't know all of them verbatim. I do, but I don't want to talk about all of that. If you know them, you know. But there was a contradiction when it came down to the religious aspect of Constantine and the way that he ran religion, because it didn't make sense to me. Why would you have wars in the name of God? That was my first experience of conflict when it comes down to religion, which forced me to dive a little bit deeper. And this was the religious aspects from the Christianity point of view, right? And as I dived in deeper and I started to see what was happening throughout time, I could honestly see that there was constantly wars that were fought in the name of God. And then I started to look at why these wars were fought. And these wars were fought because people wanted to obtain property and land, and they wanted to have a reason, give the people in their countries a reason to fight. Why not give them a religious stance? So by creating this idea that you're doing this in the name of God, it gives people a reason to go against their own morals and principles that they've been taught throughout the years when it comes down to the idea of the church. Just follow me, y'all. Follow me. I promise I got somewhere I'm going with this. Okay. And if you are fighting in this position and you are fighting in this idea with the idea to fight for God or in the name of God, your fight is already a contradiction to the thou shalt not kill. So who are you truly fighting for? And then as time progresses even further down, you consider looking at the Roman Catholics and how they fought and why they were fighting for certain things. The Romans were the emperors of the hey y'all. The Romans were the emperors of of the entire Middle East or Pangea at some point in time. How y'all doing? And because the Romans were the emperors of this during this time, what makes me so curious, because you have the Roman Catholics, but the original Romans were the believers of Athena. Their belief system was very similar to the Greek gods. Hello, Roscoe Dash, how are you? Their belief systems were very similar to the Greek gods, right? They believed in Zeus. They believed in Aphrodites, the Athenas. They believe in these mythological gods. I love you too.
Why, did you miss me when I was at TD Summer's house?
Yeah, but what did I say? Yeah, I did miss you. And I'm so glad you're here. And that's my little tiny person. He pops in from time to time. Love you today. And welcome in, everyone. When it comes down to the Roman Catholics, and like I was saying, their belief system was very similar to the Greeks. The Romans, not the Roman Catholics. They were very similar to the Greeks, where they had the mythological gods. And in that, when Constantine, the Gregorian, shoot, see, now I'm gonna have to do this. I have to look this up. Constantine Gregorian. I'm just gonna have to do this by memory, y'all, and y'all go back and fact check. But this is just really a paraphrase over the whole thing, because I just don't want to feel like doing all that. But in any case, people were conquered during this time, and they integrated their religions. As many of us knows that a lot of time the religions that were integrated also were integrated traditions. Even like with Christmas, we have Christmas that is a form of a pagan holiday, and it's one of those holidays that is a combination of holidays and rituals, right? Then you have Easter, and you have all of these different holidays that we celebrate today that we have kind of coined with the idea of Christ or of God or Christianity. And as we are doing these things, we do it innately. And this is where the generational trauma part comes in. We do all of these things kind of innately, right? Where we do it by habit, but because we don't take out the time to really truly study to find out where these things came from, it constantly puts us in the same cycle or loop. And with Christianity, the idea of Christianity, and this happens with all religions, we are so ingrained with the traditions that we are passing on and passing down to the next generation that we eventually start to get a little lazy, right? In the Bible, it says that we should show ourselves or study to show ourselves approved. And when this happens, this is basically saying that you need to take out the time to realize what it is that you are dealing with, and to actually take a deep dive in knowing what it is that you are serving and or dedicating your time to. Because if you don't take out the time to understand what you are dedicating your time to, it becomes a habit. And in this habit, it becomes something that you pass on to the next generation. And because you didn't take out the time to study it, they're not going to take out the time to study it. And it's going to keep going and keep going and keep going. An example of this is basically what Jasmine was talking about when she said God was Satan's Trojan horse. During this time when the Bible was created, This was during the time of King James, and this is roughly about the late 16 to 1700s, roughly, right? And during this time, the reason why King James wanted to have the religion or to have the Bible is because his people were going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Them jokers was doing everything and anything as they wanted to do. Whatever they saw fit, they did it. The problem was King James didn't have anybody to stop them. They didn't listen to the police. They didn't care, and they were just free. He couldn't rally the people in any way, shape, or form to do his bidding. He couldn't keep them under his control, and so what he ended up doing was he gathered all of these ideas, all of these people who were scholars in their own right, and gathered them, and they translated the entire Bible to the way that he saw fit, because he was a king. But the reason why he did this is because he had to find a way to control the people. He understood, like, especially through the ideas of Socrates and Aristotle and all of these scholars who have studied the mental psyche of people and their brains. They have all of this information and resources at the time given to them. And all of these scholars understood that. And the best way that things could be taken care of and change and have your mindsets completely change is by giving you something and deeming it as 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 the one true thing that you should follow. And that's where the Bible comes in, right? And what ends up happening around the 16 and the 1700s is when you have the pilgrims who decide that we don't want to do this. We're in a religious war, and we don't feel like what this person is saying or these principles that have been given to us is true or factual. Matter of fact, you know what? Let's get on this Mayflower and go ahead and go over to this new world and create our own religion and create our own thoughts and form our own opinions about what we feel and what we see is deemed as fit. And this is when you start seeing the great migration of religion, right? This is when you have the Protestant Catholics, and then you have the Roman Catholics, and all of these people are coming in from the other side, right? And these are the places, and these are the ideas of where Christianity starts. And they all come over here and they begin to travel here to the United States of America. And in their travel in the United States of America, they start to find ways that makes them deem fit. They still use the Bible, but they use the Bible and they use their own perception and their own ideas of it. Now, don't get me wrong. There's absolutely nothing wrong in doing that. I strongly believe that people have this idea about, hey, Tammy, people have this idea of doubting Thomas, that doubting Thomas was the most horrible person because he questioned God. But I remember a sermon that Bishop Jakes did a long time ago where he was talking about how people dogged Thomas because he doubted, dogged Thomas because he asked. But the crazy thing is, in the Bible, it states that Christ even came to make himself known and present to validate his questions and to validate who he was and to validate all the ideas that he had in his mind. All of the questions, he answered them. And what happens is because so many people have taken that scripture, like I said, a lot of the people from England came over here and they used their own perception. They used their own perception of the Bible. So when they did that, they were utilizing their ideas of doubting Thomas. And as we continue to go forward in time, in the history of time, what ends up happening is the slaves are brought into place, right? And for a time, many people don't know this, but for a time, the Bible was removed from all slaves. And the reason why they were removed from all slaves and later given back to slaves as their only form of literature The reason why that was done was to, yet again, like what happened with the English in the day with King James, it was to conform the slaves. It was to get into their psyche and to get into their mindset and to create these people, right? To create these people where they were docile to the people who bought them. And where we are now, hey Empress, where we are now at this moment in time, right? We are now, and where we are now, hey Empress, where we are now at this moment in time, right? We are now in this space where mentally we are all trying to deconstruction or deconstruct. We're all at a time where we're trying to deconstruct what we have been learned, or our spirit is pushing us to a place where we have to start deconstructing what we have already learned. In so many days, in so many ways, what it was said that if you wanted to hide knowledge from a black person, and I'm being very nice in my words, if you ever wanted to hide knowledge from a black person, you put it in a book. And the reason why they did that is because during the time of slavery, what ended up happening, as I said it before, slaves were only allowed to read the Bible. And in the Bible, what ended up happening is all of these things were removed. Certain things were removed and rewritten on top of the rewriting of King James, and rewritten in order to keep the slaves. What are y'all's thoughts so far? Am I going too deep? Am I not going deep enough? What's happening? Thank you for the likes. And for many of you guys, you already know how I work. I gotta lay. You got the popcorn, okay? I gotta lay the groundwork first. Sounds right to me. Okay. I have to lay the groundwork first before we can actually talk, right? Because we're just doing a real quick recap of religion and how it came to be. Now, that same Bible that everyone has, even today, that's being passed on in all different countries, from all different languages, that all is the same Bible that was written for the slaves. And what ends up happening is the reality that these slaves were given this Bible because their rituals and their ideas of life in general, their rituals, bless you, baby, bless you. The Bible has been used from slavery down to today. The rituals of the Africans, the rituals of the Native Americans, all of these rituals were put into place. They prayed to the ancestors. That the rituals were different. Thank you. They prayed to the ancestors. They prayed to the Great Spirit. They prayed to the different entities of things. Both cultures, the Africans and the Native Americans, right? And in that, these people that were owners of these people, the owners, they looked at them and was like, probably 9 times out of 10 started to see the miraculous works that were coming from them, because the Native Americans and the Africans, they both were in tune with their spirituality. They were in tune with themselves. And the best way to break this idea of being in tune and being one is to create this fraction in the mind. And by having, they praise the land. They praise the land. They show gratitude. They had ancestral beliefs and traditions that were passed on to them, and they used it. They used every bit of it, as they should, right? But that gave them power. And here we go. The 62 people that are locked inside of your DNA, right? And I tell you guys that the 62 people that are locked inside of your DNA all have traits and characters and they all kind of give you some form of power, innate power that you naturally know. Imagine being in a space, right? Imagine being in a space where you are departed from your land, but you innately know how to maneuver certain things in this new area. And then you start to connect and converse with people. I met this wonderful woman just recently who was saying, and if you guys were here on one of the other lives, she was saying that she could talk to people from different languages and not know the language but understand what they were talking about. That's serious connection. That's oneness within self. And then we have so many people that are seers, and this is where you get voodoo and hoodoo and witchcraft. These are the things that you get these things from, because these are all traditions and rituals that were given to people through their ancestors, or things that they learned, root work, things that they learned by getting and being connected with nature. Mediums, seers, they are connected with themselves. And when all of this stuff is happening, healers, you have all of these things happening. Now imagine you have this whole group of set of people, like I said, the Native Americans and Americans, all coming together in their full healing capacity. They're naturally building things. You see metaphysical things happening on a day-to-day basis. That stuff is scary. And those same traditions that we saw, or that these owners once saw of these people, those same traditions you can see even in the churches of many people. Speaking in tongues, the Holy Ghost, right? Casting out demons, healing people, miraculous healings. All of these things are happening. I've seen it. I've watched it done with my own bare eyes. I was one of those people, honestly. People who can see, people who are prophetic. Now imagine all of this happening with people who are deeming women as witches. And the reason why these women are deemed as witches is because they have cats. And the reason why they have cats is because they like cats, but these cats were the very thing that stopped them from obtaining diseases. And these diseases were widespread because people didn't want to clean themselves out there in England. I've watched my grandmother perform exorcisms. It happens. Right. But now let's look at it. Because now we have the framework. We have the framework. We got what happened in England, right? Now we see what's happening here in the United States. The people that were there in England, they had diseases. They had the plagues, right? They had a lot of things happening out there in England. And if people cleaned themselves and took a bath, a lot of those diseases they didn't get. And so the culture in England at the time was that you could sit in your own filth. You would sit in your own filth. When things were discarded, right? You would poop in your home. And you had a poop pan underneath your bed. And your poop pan would be discarded out the window. Right? I'm gonna get real with this. The poop pan was discarded out the window. When the poop pan was discarded out the window, you had nothing but a slush of poop and all other things, all wastes out the window. People wore high heels in order for their feet not to touch the crap. Okay? People wore long dresses and they urinated in those long dresses. And they would put perfume on to hide the stench. Okay? This is what was happening in England. And it smelled bad. And so if you're walking, yeah, and even worse, that's just a little, right? And then all of a sudden, at the time, they still don't wash their hands or use some. I digress. There are some that do, and there are some that don't. We still a situation. Nothing. You gonna cut. I must be able to see that one. That one's gonna be good. They were touching each other, dating, eating, hanging out together. They were doing all kind of stuff. These people were nasty. Nasty. And so what they ended up doing during this time, right? What they ended up doing during this time was anyone who did not catch any of their diseases or their plagues, it had to have been awful. They were deemed as a sorcerer or a witch. Rats and mice carry diseases. And the women who had cats, the cat ladies, the one that everybody always talk about, oh my God, you're such a cat lady. The cat ladies didn't have to worry about those diseases because they didn't have to worry about mice in their food or mice in their homes where they didn't have to worry about those diseases being spread to them, right? These are these people. When people would come in from overseas, when you had the Arabs that would come, and they were wondering how these Arabs looked so nice and healthy and not frail and sick, is because the Arabs were the ones that were cleaning themselves, right? And what ended up happening on top of that is, at some point, Italy was conquered by black people, by the Moors. Same for parts of England. They were conquered by the Moors. And the Moors were the a.k.a. the black people. And the Moors, what they did was they showed them how to bathe. This is what they showed them in order for them to survive and not die out. These are those same people. The owners of the land. Heard about that then when I was younger. Yeah. And owned the new land of where we are today. The United States of America. The owners. So if you saw all of these things happening and you've been told about all of these things happening in England, and you conquer all of these people from Africa, and then you enslave the people in Africa, and you do whatever you want to the people that were naturally here, who are also workers of themselves and cleaning themselves and all that fun stuff, right? All of these things are happening. Then you can only imagine their ideas of what was going on when these people were creating and doing their rituals and starting to see that the common sense things like mixing herbs, not mixing potions, mixing herbs, but it's constructed into mixing potions. Being able to talk to your ancestors and knowing the future is an idea that is magical. All of these things are happening. Now imagine these owners in this space where all of these things are happening from two different groups of people, the savages. I believe that's how they came up with the movie, The Planet of the Apes. I could see that. I could see that because in their mind, their conception is what they have been doing for centuries has been the right thing to do because that's what they've been used to. And so their idea, and that same idea is today, to conform the idea of the minds of other people so they can be in line with what they say. Now I'm going to bring it home to my little point, and then we're going to move forward, I promise, okay? Now, when you put it in a position where you are in a place where what they say, the powers that be, and we can see this in our today, right? We can see, I'm going to take my time. We can see this idealistic situation being put into place today. During that November situation, that's what we're going to call it. During the November situation, the number one thing that has put a rift between putting the rift between America is you guys aren't doing this in order to honor God. This is the place of God. This is the place of the devil. If you vote for me, you are voting for God. If you don't vote for me, you are voting for the devil. And it's like, how can that be? Right? When you have separate groups of people, one that is actually looking up things and fact checking things and comparing things to what it is that needs to be done, and then you have someone who's just speaking to be speaking. That's the best way I can say it. This person is speaking just to be speaking, and people want to hear them. They want to hear them the way they want you to do it. Mm-hmm. And it's funny when we look at the comparison of these two, because those same ideas that has been recently portrayed in our lives today as we see it, right? Those same ideas is the same ideas that were created that made the people from the Mayflower leave the England. Those same ideas are the reasons why you had witches and sorcerers in England, right? And those same ideas are the same ideas that had you create a new Bible for the slaves. Because there is knowledge that is found within us, all of us, that is built in our DNA. It's built in. And we all have the opportunity and the capabilities to dive deeper. And what ends up happening is the same idea as doubting Thomas. Within a lot of churches, I'm bringing it back home. I promise you, y'all. I'm cooking. I'm gonna marinate it. When it comes down to churches, we are often told that we cannot or should not question God, and we have to look at the idea of what happened with doubting Thomas. He's always used as the staple of the primary example of why you shouldn't question God. But it specifies so much within the Bible that we need to ask if we want knowledge. Wisdom is given to you freely. All you have to do is ask for it. And so what doubting Thomas did was he actually asked for a more profound knowledge of things.
We can play now.
He asked and he got. And the same ideas is what happened when it comes down to the people, as far as the healers of back in the days, our ancestors, the ones from England, all the way back in England, right? All of these people who avoided asking, ye shall receive. Yes, all of the people who avoided these plagues, all of these people who avoided domicile. All of these people who avoided destruction and demise because they did simple things. They used herbs. They took baths. They cleaned their hair. They stored their food. They used the bathroom in a specific place. They used running water, or they boiled their water. They had an innate way of knowing these things that the common man didn't have the slightest idea of what to do. Right? This is the stuff that has happened throughout generations to generations to generations, all the way up to here, all the way up to now. And so now we are all bombarded with these ideas of Christianity and having these borders and boundaries that are set in place before us long before we were even thought of, that we are all in some way, shape, or form fighting to get across it. We need to get over this boundary because we know at the end of the day there's more strength that comes with that. There's more knowledge, and in that more knowledge we can gain freedom. There's truth in it. Knowledge is power. And it says in the word, in the Bible, my people perish for the lack of knowledge. And knowledge doesn't always mean that it has to be in a book. Sometimes your knowledge can be built within inside of you. And as I continue to go on with
before this session, I didn't really know what to expect. I just popped into one of her lives and kind of liked what I saw her doing, wanted to see how it would go, and I definitely feel a lot lighter. We'll give it some weeks and see what the results are long term, but I definitely, during some of the moments while she was doing some energy healing on me, I felt a little different. And when she was doing the body scan on me, it was really funny because when she closes stuff out, she goes, "Oop, and I'm zipping you up." I felt it go, I felt it move when I was getting zipped back up, and I was like, "Oh, that's interesting." So, all right, y'all are not gonna believe this, but we just got the craziest confirmation ever. So, while Miss Black Cherokee was doing my reading, she was like, "Is there something going on with your left ovary?" And I was like, thinking about it for a minute, and then I was like, "Oh, dude, this is wild," because I just had my tubes removed, and when they go inside of you to do that, they stick a camera in there. And when my surgeon was reviewing the pictures with me, a week or two after my surgery, I can show you guys right here. So this little white blob is my left ovary, and this big healthy looking blob over here is my right ovary. And I have PCOS, so I have cysts and stuff on my ovaries that are pretty painful. I don't know if you can see how bloopy it is, but that guy doesn't look very happy. And this one does. And she reassured me that that's normal. And when you ovulate, they alternate. So one ovary will ovulate, and then the other one just chills, and then this one will ovulate, and this one chills. So she was assuming it's because the right one is the active one that cycle for me. So the size difference isn't that weird, I guess, but I don't know. It just looked a little shriveled. So even if it is normal, it still might be kind of limping along, having a hard time, maybe went through some struggles. But I just thought it was crazy because she said left ovary, and my doctor literally had a minute with me where she was talking about my left ovary and how oh yeah, it looks shitty, but it's probably fine. So that was kind of cool confirmation there. But yeah, I don't know. Give her a whirl. I think it's worth it.
this within my practice, and I start to understand that your ancestors were placed here to help you. Your ancestors are not demons that are lurking around to harm you. Your ancestors are the people who passed away, and they are the ones that are found on the other side that are here to help you because they love you. And they're going to give you tools and ideas of the things that you need to focus on and work on in your life. And they're going to guide you if you let them. If you ask, they will be there for you. And then you also have to think about the idea of God. When it says in the Bible, God is in us and we are in him. And we walk, this gonna be a part 2. And when we walk in our day-to-day, we are walking. Don't take those out. We are walking, we are walking, and we are literally God. We are the I am that I am because we have the power to speak those things into existence here on earth. And we're going to talk about God, the name God, and all of that stuff too in our later live. But as we talk about these things and then we walk through these things and we are empowered through these things, when it comes down to the idea of religion, for me, I can clearly deduce that this was created in order to keep us all programmed and not obtain our biggest and our most profound power. And by unlocking our things that have been holding us back, we can see life for what it is. We can start to see life how it should be. Nobody's really supposed to be confined. Everybody should be able to be free to live their lives the way they see fit. And I know that's going to come with some consequences because some people don't know how to act. I know. But if you have the spirit of the Creator within you and you listen to the people before you, then you have no other choice but to walk in love if you allow yourself to. The Bible was created for us to be slaves. But it was also created because the people who had knowledge put cues inside of it for us to understand what it is and what it means to be set free. Prime example is when Christ said that I came to show you how to live. And I'm paraphrasing, don't judge me. I came to show you how to live and how to live more abundantly. That's what's been given to us. Hey, cousin. That's what's been given to us. That's what's been told to us. We were always told in the Bible that Christ, when Christ was here on this earth, he did miraculous things. He had signs and wonders. And he told the reader through the Bible that don't be just surprised about what I can do. There are people that will come after me that will do greater works than me. That was left in the Bible. But how can we get to that point where we're doing greater works than Christ, our example in the Bible, if we are confined with all of these dogmas and rules that has been created by other men and women in the church? Another example, and I'm just gonna keep going. Y'all talk to me, son. Another example is when Christ himself was perplexed by the Sadducees and the Pharisees. He was a Reiki master and showcased all the powers he possessed. Absolutely, he was a Reiki master. Yes, he was. Mm-hmm. And then we think about the Sadducees and the Pharisees, and we also have to look at the fact that Christ himself was not in the church. He wasn't found in the church. You didn't find him in the church. After he was 12, 13 years old, he was gone. Never to come back technically to the church ever again. He wasn't a pastor. He wasn't a minister. He was a regular person who was doing signs and wonders. What happened to Christ in that period that was missing from the age of 12 to 33? What was he learning? Why was that taken out of the Bible? How come we don't know that? Because in that time of him learning and studying, 9 times out of 10, he was learning all of the Reiki practices that was given to him from different parts of the country, a different part of his continent where he stayed. But we don't question that, and we should. We should question all things because the truth is in that part. The truth is in that part. And for many of us, we are in that space where we have gathered all of the information that we could from church. Now, where do we go? What do we do with our spirituality? How do we develop more in our spirituality? What happens after we've learned the books of the Bible? What happens after we've read the Bible 13,000 times back and forth? Where do we go from there? There's no answer. The only answer that we receive next is that Christ started performing all of these magical things, and then he was put on the cross, and he died. That's what we're given. So it puts fear in the idea. Psychologically, it puts the fear that we should not go out and seek more knowledge. Because the moment we seek more knowledge, we attain these magical things and we become magical beings and we start to actually work in the space that we're supposed to work in as magical human beings. And the reality is you're going to be standing outside, right? And people are going to persecute you like they did the witches, like they did the sorcerers, like they did the hoodoos and the voodoos, priests and priestesses, like they do the tarot card readers, like they do the mediums, the seers. They are performing miraculous things, magical things, and they will be ostracized for it. Because you have people who are stuck in the fact that they perish because of lack of knowledge, and they want to stay there. And the idea is to prevent the other people like us from moving forward and understanding and getting a full understanding of why we're here on this earth. Fear has consumed you because fear has been programmed into you because you have not allowed yourself to be set free. It's a deep dive and it's a deep plunge, but once you do it, what does it say in the Bible? What does it say? The truth shall make you free. Even if you don't want it, the truth will make you free. So you won't have to feel like you're bound anymore. Take my yoke upon me and learn of me, for my yoke is easy and my burdens are light. But when we're in the church, it seems like the burdens are so hard. Why can't I get some financial assistance up in this piece? Why can't I get some real help when it comes down to my spiritual development of who I am? Okay, I will. It's almost done. Exactly. Because your pastor's financial assistance. It happens. And everybody does judge you. Another example in the Bible, when you have another person in another example of the Bible, when you have the Good Samaritan. You had the church people walk all over this one person, right? This person was hurting, physically hurting. The church people in the Bible, the Sadducees and the Pharisees, just walked around that person. They didn't even acknowledge that person. And then you had a Samaritan person, a person that had no religion, just stop out of the kindness of their heart to help another human being. Common sense was not so common at that time. I think we're gonna have to have a part 2 of this, y'all. What y'all think? I think we're gonna have to have part 2. Does this make sense to y'all? Is this helpful? Is this confirming some things? Yeah, I think we'll have to have a part 2. Like, I really do. But those are my thoughts so far when it comes down to church and the deconstruction of church. When Jasmine is talking about the Trojan horse, does to me. When Jasmine is talking about God and Satan as the Trojan horse, we're going to dive in deeper into that. Because the idea, as I said before, I agree with some things. I accept that. You don't have to agree with all of it. Not at all. If you don't agree with none of it, that's cool. I'm cool with that too. Because at least you stayed long enough to listen to what I had to say. Please don't. And you can go and research things yourself and see what it is that you want to deal with. I told you I was working, Luca. But I enjoy myself, allowing myself to be edified. I love it. Thank you. I hope this was edifying to you. Welcome in. I love it. Those are my thoughts, honestly. And that is all my opinion. Like I said, I paraphrase a lot of that. Next time I'll be. Podcast is when. The first podcast of Healing in Black is located in. Look at you. The first podcast is located in our bio, so you can check that out and you can listen to it. It's streaming in several places, and this one will be streaming probably tomorrow. I'm gonna try to download it tonight because my computer is working now. I can download faster because I called. But you guys should be able to listen to this on our podcast, and it'll be linked under Your Release Workers, healing you, helping you heal generational trauma. And who was that? Roscoe. What I do, and this is where the fun stuff comes. Welcome to the tribe, Wyatt Roscoe. What I do is I help people heal from generational trauma. And basically what that means is basically what we just walked down. A brief summary of religious trauma. You got to be careful. A brief rundown of trauma that has been passed on from generation to generation down to you. I have a webinar that is in place where many of these wonderful people came in to listen. In this webinar, it talks about unlocking generational trauma. And this one is going to be the religious trauma, getting to that religious trauma. So you can check out the webinar at any moment. It is available for demand, on demand, so you can just put it in and you'll be good. And then what else? Yeah, that's pretty much it. If you would like, this is what I do. Hey, Dina. So if you like, this is what I do. At this, you're more than welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. This helps me so much to express my feelings and work on creating other content in different places. Because TikTok may not be here anymore and we need to expand anyway. So that's where we are. But if you just click on the link in our bio for all of the people that are coming in, you click on the link on the bio, you can get an idea of what I do as far as unlocking generational trauma, letting you know about the 62 people that are locked inside of your DNA, and providing you with the idea of where your power lies within you. And telling you about the 4 belief systems that are found in each individual each human being. And if you align those 4 belief systems, then you will be unstoppable in what you do. What I do as a service on TikTok, and I can get to it and I can say it too. What I do as a service on TikTok is if you are interested in seeing your ancestors, yeah, right? If you are interested in seeing your ancestors or allowing me to see your ancestors, I'm going to miss y'all one. I know, right? I'm trying to get us all connected. That's another thing. If you guys want to stay connected to Black Cherokee One Tribe, because we still going to be here, TikTok or not, you can catch us on all of our social media platforms in our link in bio. We also have our own social media platform that nobody else owns but us. And it's called The Tribe. And in there is a space where we have small businesses and everyday people who are just posting like you would normally do here without anyone. How can I see my ancestors, please? Well, it's actually me who sees your ancestors. But what I do is I offer a service. It's called the Live Scan. I am a seer. I'm not just a person who's a person who can see people on the other side. But I am a seer, and what I do is I can see your family members, and it's a part of your one-on-one service. It's a part of your one-on-one session with me. Let me explain. So I help people break generational... I roll my eyes because I hate saying it, but it makes sense. I help people break generational curses, like fully break them. They no longer exist, right? And it's not hard. It's not a hard thing to do. We find out what traumas are holding you back, and when we find the traumas that are holding you back, we completely remove them from your subconscious beliefs. Your subconscious, they no longer exist. Therefore, allowing you to have a clean slate to walk the life that you desire without having those mental constraints holding you back. That's what I do. Okay. Part of your session, it truly is eye-opening. Part of your session is I see your ancestors on the other side. And I do offer that right now if you want me to do it for you. I grew up with no male figures in my life. But they are. I can almost guarantee you that those male figures, even though you don't see them, they are on the other side and they right there rocking with you. I can guarantee you that. My grandmother raised you. I love that. Okay, so for you, if you want to, I'm going to unlock it right now. If you want me to see your ancestors, all you need to do is give me 2 seconds. What y'all think about the class? Give me 2 sessions with me. And they can attest. Let's go. I love great news, man. Are you getting married? No, don't share that yet. I don't want to know. I don't want to know until we have our one-on-one meeting. But yeah, yours is very close. I think yours is in a couple of days as well. I think I have you down on the schedule as well, Dina. So many changes for so many people. I think I did like 30 sessions. Okay, baby. Nuh-uh. Let's stay in there. I did like 30 sessions in October. So I'm like packed as far as follow-ups. As far as follow-ups go, I'm packed. I'm jam-packed. I'm checking y'all. I asked for healing my love life. I'm now in a really in a really happy relationship with an insanely old partner? Insanely incompatible partner? What? Are you kidding me? That is awesome. Are you kidding? That's beautiful. Girl, don't share too much. Hold on. Let me find out when we going to have our one-on-one. I can't wait. Oh my gosh. That is so awesome. Because it's a beautiful experience. Having a one-on-one session is a beautiful experience. Congratulations, my love. I love that. See, Roscoe, this is what we got. We got good synergy over here. We take the deep dives, we learn something, and then at the end, we do something. We get stuff. Yep, it's crazy. I I'll have to look at the dates. Okay, I'm looking right now. Don't go anywhere, Memmosa. Don't go nowhere. I'm looking, girl. I'm looking. And it's been amazing since. What? How come you not? Wait a minute. How come you are not in the empowerment tribe? Did you get the email, Mimosa? Because you got to share all of this stuff with the other people. Yes, you coming up. You coming up. Don't share all the goods. Don't share all the goods. Don't share all the goods. You coming up. Don't share all the goods. Don't share all the goods. Don't share all the goods.
Oh, hi.
Hey, yeah. You up here.
Hey.
Hey.
Nice. I'll have to go in like a half hour because I'm currently trying to get some math things in my head for a math class I'm doing. And my tutoring calls in a half hour. But
No. We're not doing your follow-up. Do you want to do your follow-up?
We can if you want to. I was just like,
Hey,
while we're
15
talking
minutes.
about it, I do have a ton of great news.
Yes, okay, 15 minutes. Okay, hold on, Booba. All right, I'm listening because your follow-up is only 15 minutes, so if we can get that.
Yeah, I don't know if I can leave the app to look at the dates. I was going to try to pull up the dates because I know I had you in my calendar.
We can do it now and I'll just cancel it.
But it was literally like within a couple days to a weekish, I want to say. Somebody I'd been friends with for like a year and a half randomly was hanging out with me at my house like we tend to do from time to time, and he was just like, want to make out? And I was like, yeah, I guess. Sure. And then
hold on, before you get started fully. Hold on. She is one of the first people that I did a one-on-one session with. And this is her 90-day review. So y'all, we listening. She's at her 90 days. And it takes roughly about 90 days for any changes that we did in our one-on-one session. It takes roughly about 90 days to obtain this full change. So she's sharing with all of us. And usually it's a closed one-on-one session, but she wants to be up here because, she got things to do. So go ahead, girl. I'm listening while I make this food.
Okay. Also, for context, so the thing I wanted healing on was my love life, because I had done a bunch of work on myself to like figure out why I'm picking bad partners, make sure I'm being a good partner, all the things that one could do to make sure that they can be in a healthy relationship. And I just still kept being in unhealthy relationships. And I was like, I have done everything I can within reason on myself. I've done everything I can within reason to make sure I'm picking good people. Like, what is the problem? So I booked my session with Black Cherokee and I was like, let's see if we can do some things. We had a really cool moment where she was like, is there something weird going on? Like with your left, like lower abdominal? And I was like, oh my God, actually my left ovary is kind of shriveled. I just had my tubes tied. And when they showed me the pictures of my organs, the left one looked a little shrivelly, and I showed her pictures and we had a fun like, whoa, that's crazy moment about that. And then a couple days later, my friend asks me to make out, and then things develop from there. And I think we made things official like a month ago, maybe.
What?
Yeah.
It's been go.
Really nice. Yeah, things just naturally evolve really well. Yeah, it's been really awesome. Like, we're similar enough that we understand each other and we speak the same language, but we're still different enough that we have different strengths so we can kind of help each other. It's so nice. It's been so nice.
Oh, so you got pretty much exactly what you asked for. What have you found out about yourself?
Oh, man, I did have an epiphany shortly after, too, and I'm trying to remember what it was. Because now it's so deeply ingrained, it's just how I operate. Oh, man. I might have to get back to you on that. I think I journaled about
No
it
worries.
somewhere, but I've got like 3 journals I'd have to dig through.
No, it's all good because that's normally what happens. So after your one-on-one session with me, things will start to change, and that's the reason why I created the empowerment tribe, because it's a great place for you guys to document those changes and to help the people that are coming behind you. It's kind of like I put you guys through a quick trauma thing. That's a
Yeah, I'm
trauma,
sorry. I
non-trauma
wish I would
thing.
have wrote it down
No, it's
better
all
because
good. It's
I
all
have the
good.
problem of once I implement a change, it's just there and I don't think about it and I kind of forget what I was like before I implemented it.
And that's what it
I
does.
think
When you have your session, it's the same way. Go ahead.
I think a big one with it was like at least one thing that helped a lot, and you hear people say it a lot, and it's something I used to think I was doing, but I guess I wasn't fully embodying it. But it's kind of trusting yourself and trusting the process. So like early on, there were certain things that normally would make me super, super anxious with somebody. It would make me just be like, fuck you, I don't like you, I'm out. Like he was really irregular about texting, but he just doesn't prioritize being in his phone. He likes to be very present with whatever he's doing in person. And being friends beforehand kind of helped with that too, because I was like, whatever, he always gets back within 2 to 3 business days. At least now he gets back to me within 24 hours, you know? But it was something that normally in the past would be so anxiety inducing that I wouldn't be able to handle it. But I was like, you know what? What's meant for me is meant for me. And if he really isn't that interested, that's fine. I don't want him because I want somebody that wants me back as much as I want them. And then over time, it became more evident like he does. And the more I give him his space and don't worry about stuff, the more I hear from him. And I don't know, it's so weird. I don't know how to describe it well.
So would you say that after your session, right, after your one-on-one session, would you say that it helped you with your anxieties?
Yes, they're still there, but I handle them better. I can sit with them and I can look at them and I can acknowledge them, but I don't let them control me like I used to.
That's what's up.
Yeah, and the more that I don't act based on them, the more they like kind of fade away. So it's kind of like a exfoliation of the soul, maybe could be a way to put it.
I love it.
Because it's not something
I love
that's,
it.
yeah, I don't know. It's not something that's happening all at once, but it is something that as I continue on with the new pattern, that gets strengthened, and then the old pattern is kind of like sloughing off and going away.
Do you remember if you experienced any types of grief or grieving during your one-on-one session, after your one-on-one session? Did you have bouts of sadness?
Yeah, I did have a few kind of like panic attacks a little bit. But they were specifically triggered by certain things that had happened in the past that were happening again event wise. Like he randomly went on leave to go see his family. And in the past I had somebody do that and they came back engaged to somebody else. And so I was like panicking because my trauma brain was like, oh no, the same thing's happening again. And so I was freaking out and I was just kind of like, no, it's not the same person. It's not the same situation. It's going to be different this time. And I talked to him about it and he was really supportive about how I was feeling anxious and was like, no, I'm not doing that. And thanks for sharing how you're feeling. And I was like, yep, I know it's totally irrational. I just have to let you know I'm having a hard time. But it was really healing to be able to just say I'm scared and have somebody actually comfort me and not be like, I'm not the past, so why are you blaming me for the past? It's like, no, I'm not blaming you. I'm not even saying you're doing the thing. I'm just scared because this has happened before and it's a similar situation. So trauma brain's activated. And so I got to like feel it and heal it. You know what I mean? So
I do, because it's no longer associated. Like I have another person that I've done a one-on-one session with, and what happens is we can feel it. What, like, we know it innately, logically. We know this feeling, but after you do your one-on-one session, the feelings aren't as attached to you like they used to be, because sometimes those feelings continue on a spiral part. But when you do your one-on-one session, it's that disconnect where you can actually prioritize and actualize your feelings. Like, okay, this is where this is coming from, and I can say it. Go ahead.
Yes, that's pretty much exactly what it was, because I was freaking out, but I was like, I know why I'm freaking out. I know it's not happening again, but part of me feels like it is, but it's just because it's a similar situation. I'm fine, he's fine, everything's fine, but I was still able to talk about it and process it with someone else. And that was really nice, because certain types of healing, especially when it comes to relationship healing, I don't think it's really possible to heal by yourself. You kind of have to have another person to heal how you handle that situation, because you're not going to be in that situation when you're single. You have to be dating somebody to heal wounds that you received
Agreed.
while you were dating. To a certain extent, there's certain things you can heal on your own that you have to do on your own first, but then the next phase, the next step, you kind of have to have another person around for.
100% agree on that. I wholeheartedly agree. I love this. I love
Yeah,
this.
so thank you so much.
Girl, thank you. Okay, so what would you say to someone who, again, we're gonna say it again. What would you say to someone now that you have completed your full 90 days? Dang near you, a couple of days off, but now that you have completed your full 90 days, what would you say to someone who is on the fence about booking a one-on-one session with me?
I would say keep an open mind and fuck around and find out. Because if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But if it works, for me, it worked hard, worked real good. So I recommend it.
And this came straight from her. So what's the deal with you in school? Okay, what's going on with you? Do you feel more empowered? Do you feel more present? And now that you're back in school, like how's all this stuff happening for you?
So I'm just taking a math class because I have 2 classes left to get my CCAF, which is like the Air Force equivalent of an associate's degree. And I'm doing a math class, and math is like my weakest subject. So I'm struggle busting through it, which is why I'm doing the tutor call in 20 minutes. But it's not that bad. I just some of this stuff is like, oh yeah, I remember this. But now I'm on a section for this chapter where I'm like, nope, never covered that. So I'm having to learn new things I haven't seen before that are just weird. Logarithms are weird. I don't like them, but we're gonna figure it out.
Oh, I remember logarithms. Not fun. Not at all.
Yeah, they don't make any sense. I've been sitting here for like an hour trying to understand, and they don't make sense.
Well, I hope your tutoring session goes well. Have you eaten yet?
Yeah, I had a little bit. I had a breakfast burrito and some coffee. I'm gonna eat when I get home, but I'm gonna stay at work because I have the dual screen computer at work to look at all my math stuff while I'm talking to my math teacher. So
logarithms, girl, logarithms. What's the rhythms? Logarithms, right?
Oh,
so yes, God. I'm so thankful that you hung out with us. That makes me feel special.
Yeah, I was trying to find something comforting to listen to while I made my brain hurt, and you popped up, and I was like, I like her voice. I'm gonna pop in.
Oh, thank you. I haven't been the night crew, man. I missed the night crew. I've been working too hard that I haven't been. That's all, baby. I've been working too hard that I haven't been able to hang out with the night crew.
I may have some salt on my rice.
Yeah, I haven't even been on the night crew much. I guess that's another thing too since this session. I've not been chronically online as much. I've actually been focusing on my own life as opposed to like scrolling through the TikToks. So
I'm starting to get to that point
as much.
Yeah, I'm slowly getting to that point. Like now that I no longer have, I've released myself from doing the class on a day-to-day basis. Like, yeah, I've released myself from that. It's now streaming, so y'all can catch it on the stream. I'm more free to cook and move around and stuff. Got some encouraging words. Congratulations, Memmosa. Keep moving up, girl. I'm so happy.
Oh, thank you,
Memmosa. I'm so happy.
Me too. Oh man,
I am so happy. I love these 90-day reviews. I'm gonna have to get everybody to start doing their 90-day reviews online because this is beautiful.
Gotta let people know, because I was honestly a little like, you know, that was my mentality going
You
into
were.
it. I was like, it'll either work
You
or it
were.
won't work. I don't really care. It sounds interesting. I'll give it a try. And I'm really happy I did. So yeah, but I think people hearing my story and the stories of other people that also have awesome results, like, kind of helps make more sense, I think.
I would strongly agree. So I might ask people if they want to do their reviews online, and I can just post it elsewhere because this is really cool.
Yeah, let me
This
know
is
if
really,
you
really
catch
cool.
me. If you catch me
No,
when
I
you're
mean,
live again and you're not recording, I'll do it again. We'll do a recap.
no, I'm recording. I'm recording now, and all I'm going to do
Okay,
is edit, and then I'm going to put it on the podcast. We've got a podcast
nice.
now.
Oh, I'm gonna have to go to your link tree and follow the podcast.
Girl, yes, please do. I love this. This makes me so happy. I'm so happy for you, Memmosa. Like, so many of you guys, I've had 3 follow-ups so far, and each and every last one of you have all stated that something amazing has happened for you, and that you are accepting life for what it is, and you know that life is happening for you and not happening to you, and you're making it happen, and you're making it work.
Yeah,
And that's beautiful.
I'm gonna, now that we're talking about it, I'll have to book another one with you for my career progression, because that's another area of my life that needs some work.
No, you good, but you know, we're gonna have to figure that part out. He doing the most. Y'all know how he do. All y'all know how he do.
What
But
were
I
you
can't
saying, though?
wait. Huh? I can't wait. Now, when it comes down to your business part, I don't really do that part.
It's not
I only do
business.
the.
I'm just trying to get promoted.
Okay, let me give you the keys to that. Okay, and I shared this with.
What are the keys?
Hold on. Here's the key. Hold on. Keisha cut. This is secret sauce. All right. And I shared this once before, and the next time I'm just gonna have to text it to you. But this is the key. When it comes down, now that you no longer have the things that are holding you back in your life, as far as the generational traumas that have been holding you up, you are now free and clear of slate. You have a clean slate. So what you can say now is the creator of all things. And then it is commanded.
Okay.
It is commanded that you have whatever you say you have. And then you think of all the things that you want. All of it. And you say it. You say the things that you desire. And then you're going to close your eyes and imagine yourself having those things.
Okay.
And then once you've seen yourself having all of those things, like fully imagine yourself having those things, the things that you said you want, then you're going to close it out with three thank yous. And then 3, it is done. And you do that for everything.
I like that. It's a very
simple tools
formula.
Yes.
I wrote it on
simple
my math
tools.
homework. I'm gonna have to rewrite that somewhere more prominent.
I heard. That's why I took my time. I was like, she writing.
Yep.
Did someone mention the link? The link that's in the bio? Girl, no problem. No problem. Resume, NaKeesha. I gotta tell myself when to cut and stuff. But I'm super excited. All right, girl, get off of here. You gotta go to your class.
Oh my God, I do. You're right. Thank you. I lost track of time.
Bye.
Anyway, always good talking to you.
Same, baby. Thank you so much for coming through. I greatly appreciate it. Oh, that's so awesome.
Thanks for doing what you do. Keep healing people's lives. It's great.
I try.
Well, you succeed.
I love it. Thank you, my dear. Talk to you
Alrighty, I'll
soon,
catch you
and
later,
I can't
dear.
wait to hear. All right,
You're gonna
bye.
have to probably yeet me out. I don't know how to leave.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Thank you.
Bye, girl. No
Bye.
problem. They said, take care, girl. Awesome. I love it. That's what we talking about up in her. All up in her. Is it good? Is it good? You do stuff you ain't got no business doing. You don't do that. No toys at the table. You can swallow this and hurt yourself. Anyway, but that's the end of our lives, y'all. I'm gonna have to drop kick my son because he think because I'm on here and I'm not talking to him that I'm not paying no attention to him. But let me know what you guys think about my concept, and we will have a round 2. We're gonna go deep diving into this whole idea. That was I am gonna enjoy dinner. That was just a small recap of what we are going to be talking about. Now that I'm free to talk and I don't have to say the same thing over and over again. And Roscoe, if you're still here, I will be here if you want to do that ancestral belief, if you want to see your ancestors on the other side. What are you doing? Hold on, y'all. That's why you eat with your spoon, honey. Okay? Not with your hands, not with your fingers. Eat with your spoon. Yeah. So, check us out. We'll be back on here maybe tomorrow, but I don't know. I'm gonna take a break. But I'll be uploading. Check out the podcast, link in the bio. We have Healing in Black, our first episode. Then we're gonna have Rosa. We're gonna have the very things that we normally have every Thursday, Saturday, every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday will be placed in our podcast. So if you miss it, go ahead and check it out in there. All right. With that being said, your time is the only thing you can never get back. So I greatly appreciate that you guys spend your time with me. And I'm so thankful to hear the reviews from Memmosa and knowing that all of my people are here in the building representing. I'm so thankful for all of you guys. And again, your time is the only thing you can ever get back. And I'm so grateful that you chose to spend your time here at Black Cherokee One Tribe, where we're here for your mind, body, and soul. Black Cherokee, baby. One Tribe. Deuces.
Deuces.